Bada bing, bada boom. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Beyond the Chair podcast where I go live every Wednesday to discuss a lot of different crazy stuff. Anything and everything barbering. If you've listened to the podcast, you know the spiel. And I'm back. I'm back. A client coming in about 30 minutes. So I got some time to talk to you guys. Today's topic: cordless versus corded clippers. What's best? What do I suggest? What's my opinion on it? A lot of different barbers that follow the channel, whether you have experience or you have very little experience. It's a good topic to talk about. And it's good to think about when you're talking about cordless clippers. Like, should you make the leap and buy cordless clippers? And what's good for the longevity? Because the reason I actually started thinking about this, and shout out to everyone that's listening, watching, whatever country you're from. We see we got Sweden already in the house. Uh, drop where you're watching this video from, whether your country, continent, state, district, area code, all that stuff. Drop it in the comments below. So I was thinking about this earlier because I'm getting ready to start. It's that time. It's tax season. For all of you barbers out there, especially if you're a booth rental, you should be getting ready to do your taxes. I guess if you haven't done them already, but you should be getting ready to do your taxes. So, in me doing so and me prepping to get ready to do my taxes, I'll probably do them next month. But I was looking at all of the money I made over the year. I was looking at a lot of the expenses and things like this. And I'm also trying to figure out ways where I can cut some expenses and then maybe divert that money towards other things, whether it's travel, maybe going to do some shows. But I did notice that there were a few months in there. I noticed a few months in there when I looked at all my little spreadsheets and everything. I spent quite a bit of money on tools and equipment and things like this. Now, one of the big purchases I made, if you guys aren't familiar, if you haven't watched the review of the Cordless Masters, if you haven't watched the review on that, go watch it. But one of the big purchases that I made as far as tools, if you're talking about just one single shot, were these things. These things ran me about 500 bucks. I had the blade already, but if you want to talk about the cost of the blade, is about 40 bucks. And yeah, this is a big purchase. So I was looking at other purchases that I made throughout the year, and I was like, wow, I spent a lot of money on stuff. Which this year I'm gonna try and minimize that and spend a little bit less money on tools and equipment and things like this. Also, I'm not sure if you guys have been paying attention. I've been doing a little bit of decorating around here. I'll flip the camera. Well, this stuff's pretty much normal. You guys seen that before. We talked about this thing last week. Bought a few new pictures. I got some other stuff back there, but I got some other stuff coming. I've got some other stuff coming where I'm gonna put up some more stuff. So a lot of stuff that I bought was justifiable for like decorative pieces and things like this. But clippers, this is one thing I'm trying not to buy. I feel right now as my station sits, and I'll show this to you guys. So you see my station. Let me take this out here. So you see what I'm rocking with. This is my lineup solid, guys. I'm pretty comfortable where I sit with everything. I don't feel that I have the need to buy anything else. As you see, I got a couple pair of slim lines. I got one modded. I think there's another one back here somewhere. Yep, there's another one. You can see it has the mod as well. I don't really use that. I probably need to just give it away to someone. But corded T outliner. I don't know why. I still haven't found a reason to get rid of this. I know the Babyliss joints are out there and people think they're hot, but I love these things. Cordless Masters, one pair of MVs, although I gave one pair of MVs away to a client of mine. He's a young up and coming barber. I think he's like 16. I gave a pair away to him. Oh yeah, there's another pair of MVs back here as well, which I don't use these. These have the Andes blade. Let me try and move this out of the way so you guys can. This has the this has the Andes, as you can see, the Andes fade blade. There's no lever on these. Obviously, I took the lever off, and I don't even use these things, to be honest with you. As you see, they're stuck back there, and you can see this blade now has some rust on it. So don't really use that thing. It's just really just there. But of course, Supras, and then I've got my shavers. But the question is cordless or corded? What should you do? Beginner barber or older barber? What should you do? Corded or cordless? That's the ultimate question. Like I just showed you, my lineup is solid. I don't need to buy anything. I really don't have a need to buy any more tools. Only thing that I would need for any of these things is if something breaks, maybe chip a blade, things like this. And this is just maintenance. This happens, of course. But I don't have a need to buy anything. So the real question is, what should you get, corded or cordless? Now, I tend to lean on both sides of the argument when it comes to corded versus cordless. There is a time and place for everything. So there are some cases where cordless clippers are great. Then there are some cases where it's not so great. So, and we're going to talk about both. So the times where cordless clippers are great, when you're cutting kids' hair, absolutely perfect. When you're cutting kids' hair, you don't have to worry about the cord being in the way with the kid moving. Maybe you have to change the position just to get that little cut, because you know how it is. I mean, look, we're all barbers here, right? We've cut kids before. They move a certain way, and a lot of times you just have to adjust to the kid. You don't really have that luxury sometimes when you're cutting kids' hair. Cordless clippers are great in that scenario. Scenario number two, doing a house call, going to someone's house. Now, we all know doing a house call is nothing. It's not the most ideal scenario for cutting hair. Let me turn my hat back. It's not the most ideal scenario to cut hair. And most people's houses are dimly lit in a lot of situations when you go to a house call. It's dimly lit. The lighting situation is terrible. In the barbershop, usually you have better lighting conditions. And then I have a ring light, as you can see here. I always turn this thing on when I'm cutting hair, so I have the ring light. And that's ideal. You don't have this at a house call. Now, another thing with a house call is when you're setting up, typically you have to try and find some sort of outlet to set up next to, which in those cases usually aren't really the most ideal, especially when you talk about for lighting situations. So, depending upon where the person lives, the layout of their home or apartment, if they're in an apartment, it's usually worse. Where if you have to be confined to some wall due to you needing the outlet, it's usually not that good when the lighting, and then in that case you're jammed up. So in the house call scenario, cordless clippers are perfect because typically when you do a house call, you're only doing one haircut, maybe two or three, but typically only one. And of course, if you're an experienced barber, your cordless clippers will be able to last for those 1 to 2 haircuts. If you're doing this at a house call, if you're an experienced barber, but if you don't have the experience, you probably want to bring your cordless clip or corded clippers to a house call. Another scenario where this is just great. They're very lightweight. Corded clippers can be very heavy. A lot of people complained about these clippers here. Not the cordless master, but the corded master. Even the Wall Senior, the corded version, is heavy. A lot of people complained about this, and I noticed with the master, especially, a lot of people love the master. A lot of people's complaint about the master is that it's heavy. With this cordless version, it's not heavy. It's perfect. Fits in your hand. The man, I actually, and I still stand to this day. I said this in my review of these clippers. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. But I said that these cordless versions are way better than corded version. I said it. I wouldn't say you heard it here first, but if you have heard it here first, you heard it from me. And I use these things on the regular all the time, and I absolutely love these things. Now let's go. Now let's switch over to the corded clippers, okay? And why they're good, and why would someone prefer them over cordless clippers? Now, one thing with cordless clippers that you can expect every single time, this thing right here. When you turn them on, you feel See, I can feel the power vibrating through my hand. That being said, you're going to get this consistent power 100% of the time. That right there, you're going to get this 100% of the time. With cordless clippers, these turn on, you know, they're loud, right? Cordless clippers tend to be loud. Rotary motors, you get that sound. However, these, a little loud, but now that I think about it, most detachable clippers are a little bit louder. But you see, louder, right? Listen, not so loud. Well, there we go, little rattle, little shake and bake. But one thing that corded clippers have an advantage over, like I said, the power. These are about 3 years old. These particular pair. These pair is a few months old. So check out the power difference here. You hear that? Can you hear that? It turns on and it sounds fast, fresh, right? Three years old. You hear that? There's a noticeable decrease in power over the life of this, well, clipper or trimmer, but in this case this is a trimmer. And this is what you can expect from cordless clippers. Now, few months old, 3 years old. So you see the difference? Big difference, guys. Now, with corded clippers, you're not going to get that. You're going to get this 100% of the time. That same feel, the same sound, unless, something gets uncalibrated and whatnot. But you're going to get the same feel, you're going to get the same power consistently for the lifespan of the clipper. And corded clippers, they're going to last you pretty much forever. You can have a corded clipper last you a long time. You are not going to get this with a cordless clipper. They'll probably last you a few months, or not a few months, but a few years. You'll get some good life out of the clipper, and it's great. They're very convenient and they're great, but you're not going to get that with a cord, or you're not going to have the same problems with a corded clipper. You can, in a lot of cases, use this clipper for the lifespan of your career. And in some cases, depending upon the type of barber that you are, how much experience you have, you can only rock with 3 clippers. You can have a trimmer, an adjustable, and a detachable in the corded form. So in the corded form, you only need these 3 clippers and trimmers right here. So this is all you need at your station. Now, from what I hear with a lot of barbers, what they do with cordless trimmers, or not cordless trimmers, but cordless clippers, there's a common theme. Always buy 2, right? Because you're using one and then you got one uncharged for standby. Now, in the case of, let's say I want to buy a corded master, right? It's around $100, somewhere around there. You can get it for a little less. Yeah, actually, yeah, I know you can get it for less than $100, but we'll just average it out and say that you can get these things for $100. Now, you pay for these are going to cost you about $250. That's more than twice the price of the corded master. But if you stick to the same logic of I'm gonna use one and have one on charge, now you're spending $500 in my case, and that's times 5. So paying $100 versus paying $500, it's not the smartest thing to do if you talk about just business and you want to try and keep your expenses down. In that scenario, I'm gonna side with corded clippers because it really doesn't make sense to pay 5 times the price, or potentially, right? You may pay 2 to 5 times the price just because you want cordless clippers. And in my opinion, that's stupid. But I guess I'm calling myself stupid because I did it. But it was more for other reasons as well. But with corded clippers versus cordless clippers, that's one thing you can expect. The price of them a lot cheaper. Even a corded pair of seniors, I think you could probably get them for about 60, 70 bucks. Versus if you guys remember when the cordless seniors came out, I think they were, oh my goodness, I can't really remember the exact price. I think it was somewhere around 150, 175, 150, 200 ballpark. And it's funny because I was talking to a barber on Instagram and he just got a little sponsorship from Babyliss. Oh wow, grabbed a pair for 30 bucks. Congratulations to you. I was talking to a barber recently on Instagram. He DM'd me. He's like, "Oh, I just got this sponsorship from Babyliss." And I was like, "Congratulations." And he's testing product and things like that. And then it made me think because I said to myself, this is exactly why I don't like cordless clippers. Partially, but more importantly, why I dislike Babyliss. Because I'm like, Babyliss has come out with a bombardment of new clippers and trimmers over the course of the last, if you want to say, 2 to 3 years. They've come out with a bunch of stuff, right? We all know this. A lot of people love it, right? And I'm thinking to myself, why are they sending stuff out to him to test it? Why? What are they trying to change? Like, what the hell is going on? So I'm thinking to myself, look, I'm thinking about Babyliss's lineup over the past few years. Yeah, they came out with the Gold FX. Then before that, they had those one trimmers, and then as far as the adjustable clipper, they had, of course, the new ones. And then before that, they had a different pair. And I'm thinking to myself, what are they changing now? What what necessity do you have for coming out with another trimmer or clipper? You just released one last year, and the year before that you released one, and it seems like if what he's saying, they're probably going to release another one. So what's the point? So if a lot of barbers like to keep up with new tools and buy new tools, so if you're one of those people, you're screwed because you're gonna feel the necessity to buy something new, something fresh, something that's cool, which is absolutely unnecessary. But in the case with Babyliss, I also hear barbers say that the battery life isn't all that great when it comes to Babyliss clippers and trimmers. So in that case, corded clippers is winning. Corded clippers is coming out on top 100%. It's undebatable, it's undeniable. Like there's nothing you can tell me to feel otherwise. Now, as you saw, look, I have tons of cordless clippers and trimmers. I love it. For me, my whole reason for getting corded or cordless clippers and trimmers is because I don't have tons of space here. The cords get tangled all the time, and it's a pain in the butt. It's a real pain. It's been a pain in the butt for me. If you guys are the type that can deal with the cord being tangled all the time, look, be my guest, and more power to you. But I hate it, and of course, I like the Masters and a few other clippers. These cordless versions was right on time. It came out right on time for me. So in that case, it was great. But for a newer barber, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you get cordless trimmers or try and get all of the cordless trimmers because a newer barber, you're going to be a slower barber. You're not going to be able to cut hair that fast. So for most, on average, we'll talk about on average because there's some companies out here that's pushing the bar when it comes to battery life on the cordless trimmers, which that's a lot of people's complaint about cordless trimmers. They wish the battery life was just a little bit better. But for a beginner, I would not recommend you get cordless clippers or trimmers. I wouldn't personally, I wouldn't personally recommend it because what's gonna happen is you're gonna use them, they're gonna die on you, and then what's gonna happen is you're either gonna cut with the cord in it, which most of them you can attach the cord and use it that way. If you look at that logic, you might as well just bought the corded version, saved yourself a bunch of money and headache. The thing is, with this, you have it all the time, as I just showed you, and as you probably know because I'm pretty sure. Actually, a thought that just popped in my mind. There are newer barbers now that are coming up in this cordless clipper trimmer era that may have never used a cordless or not a cordless, a corded clipper. And I'm really wondering if there's any newer barbers out there that have never used a corded clipper or trimmer. That could be a possibility. And the thought just came to my mind. Wow, that's actually quite crazy to think that there might be barbers out there that have never used a corded trimmer, because a lot of barbers follow the trends, they follow what other barbers are doing. And look, you guys may watch my videos and take my recommendation like, oh man, this, you might respect my opinion, and I'm glad that you do. But that's a crazy thought that I just thought about. Wow, that's pretty crazy. But overall, I'm erring on the side of cordless clippers and trimmers. I don't know. Now, the price. Let's talk about price, because this is another part where I dislike about the cordless trimmers or clippers. The price is overwhelming. The price for most cordless tools usually costs double that the corded version would cost. Cordless T outliners, when they came out, $200. You could probably get them for maybe what, 129. I don't know. I don't know how much cordless T outliners are costing. But you can pick up one of these for about 50, $60. Probably even cheaper. I'm just throwing a random number out there. Detailers, corded detailers. You can get them for about $50, maybe even less. But the cordless version is $100. Babyliss we can't compare because they don't have a real corded trimmer that's really worth a damn. Masters, as I told you, 80, $100. Cordless version, $250. 225 if you're lucky. And it's the price is staggering. I wouldn't recommend it, because if you try, like I say, if you want to stick to the logic of, oh, I'm gonna get two of everything, have one on standby while I'm cutting with one, the price of your whole setup. Look, you can have a corded setup where you have a trimmer, an adjustable, and a detachable. You can get all of these for under, well, yeah, you can get them all for about $250. Now, look, that's if you don't want to be picky. If you don't care about brand loyalty and all these other things, and just getting the best of the best that you possibly could get, like let's say a T outliner, a master or senior, and then just get a Model 10 or Auster 76. You can get all three of those clippers and trimmers for like about $250 or less, depending upon how you spend your money and where you buy from. But if you want to go cordless, guys, if you want to go cordless and you live by the philosophy of cutting with one, having one on charge and standby, right? You're gonna pay. Oh my goodness, guys! Depending upon the clippers you get, guys, you're looking at about $1,000. Trimmer, clipper, and detachable. Look, these Supras, these are the old ones, right? These were about $200 when I bought these. The ZR2, those things are about $250 a pair. $250. You can get two pair of Oster 76ers, or actually, if you're smart with your money and you shop around, I know you can probably get 4 to 5 pair, because I've bought a pair of 76ers for about $60, $50 once. So if you're smart, you can get them for very cheap. Clippers, guys, come on! I just told you. Trimmers, guys, look, I just told you. You want to get the gold FX with the nice shiny gold blade on it. That's going to set you back about $150. Depending upon where you get it from, you can get them for a little bit cheaper. If you're smart, I always recommend that you shop around, save yourself a little bit of coin. Maybe you can use that money elsewhere. Just be smart about how you spend your money. Now, here's another thing with the cordless clippers and trimmers. You want to get the Tune 45 Power Mat, and you have about 10 clippers, 5 clippers, Power Mat for one. Then you got to get all the power clips too, and that's even more money. So you're over $1,000 in cordless tools. That's a lot of money to look cool. I don't recommend you buying something just because someone else has it, or you want to be cool because these guys have it, or this crew's running with these types of clippers, and you want to get them because you want to be like them. Maybe you feel inspired, right? We all been inspired. I've been inspired, but I know what works for me, and I just work with what works for me. I don't want to try the fast feeds with the ceramic blade. I know they work great. I've seen them. It's great, right? The Gold FXs, I haven't tried them. The trimmers, I have tried them, but I don't own a pair. The other Babyliss tools and other things, I haven't tried them. I don't need to because what I have works for me. And cordless clippers and trimmers is great, but you got to be smart about the way you spend your money. And that's what I recommend for you guys. Take into account all of the things that I just talked about. Weigh everything. Weigh everything. A lot of barbers have the problem of just going out and spending money and then worrying about the consequences later. And then all you're stuck with is a bunch of tools that you don't use anymore and that you either have to sell at a much cheaper price than what you bought them for, or they're just sitting around in your graveyard of tools and stuff, and you're just like picking at them for spare parts and stuff like that. Not really a smart strategy. So be smart with your money, guys. Spend it well, spend it wisely in the right places. And, I hope this shook up something for you guys where you guys can think a little bit smarter in 2020, not try and make these companies richer, because that's my goal for this year is not to try and make them richer. Use what I have and only buy things out of necessity and maintenance because I'm happy with what I have, guys. But of course, if anyone wants to send me some stuff, any companies, no company has ever sent me a clipper or trimmer for free. If they want to send me one, great. Go ahead, and my opinions will still not change. I won't be indifferent. If someone sends me something, and know this, guys. I'm gonna say this before I get out of here. Know this: if you ever see a product review coming from me, I'm giving you the truth. I'm not gonna be, even if someone sends me something for free, I'm gonna give you the honest truth. I'm not gonna be one of those guys that if someone sends me something for free, I'm gonna have an unbiased towards them, or I'm gonna say glowing things, even though I might know it's not the greatest. I'm gonna give you the honest truth. So for any of those companies who may be listening, I know that see there's a bunch of you guys tuned in. Know this: you're gonna get the real deal from me. No phony stuff, no fake stuff. I'm not, no one can buy my opinion. And I think that's why you guys like my product reviews when I talk about products, because I'll give you the most in-depth knowledge that I can possibly give you. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll see you guys next Wednesday in the podcast. The podcast will be up. This podcast will be up next Wednesday, and last week's will be up today. So I'll upload that today. And of course, I got haircut tutorial coming Friday. So I've been in the lab, I've been shooting, and I've been editing. So I'll see you guys. I guess you guys will see me Friday because I'll be dropping a haircut tutorial. But I'll see you guys live next Wednesday. It's been your man signing out. I'll holla.